Good evening, welcome to the Wednesday Update. I'm Zach Timson, and here are tonight's top stories. Well, I think I speak for all Americans when I say, what the actual f*** happened last month? September 2020 is historically, and this is a fact, the only month to have lasted 5 whole years. By the way, I'm not wearing a jacket right now because it's hot as hell here because my state is on fire. Which brings me to my first point, the California wildfires. You know, if you had told me back in 2016 that the last year of Donald Trump's first term would make the sky orange, I would have looked at you and said, yeah, that makes sense. It's kind of like in a Disney movie when an evil green villain gains power and then suddenly there's green everywhere. Well, that's what's happening in our country right now under the evil villain Lord Orangeskin. I mean, we have to remember, we voted for this. And by we, I mean 2 million people less than who voted for Hillary because the Electoral College is outdated and should be abolished. But still, we voted for this. And I gotta say, what did we expect from a guy whose catchphrase literally used to be, "You're fired"? The craziest part about all of this is that the wildfires started with a botched gender reveal party. I mean, I've been saying for years that gender reveal parties are stupid and pointless and should just go up in flames, but this is not what I meant. The baby in question, in case you were wondering, is going to be a boy, and I don't think a name has been chosen yet, but it would be such a missed opportunity if they didn't name the boy Ash. I mean, it's just kind of perfect. And then at a round table about said wildfires, President Treason said that the state of California will just cool on its own. Take a look.
If we ignore that science and sort of put our head in the sand and think it's all about vegetation management, we're not going to succeed together protecting Californians.
Okay, it'll start getting cooler. You just watch.
I wish science agreed with you.
Hey, well, I don't think science knows, actually.
I don't think science knows. It's science, dude. You can't make science up. Man, I really wish I could have seen Trump's biology and chemistry tests from high school. What is photosynthesis? You know, I don't think science even knows what photosynthesis is. I mean, you tell me. I mean, I think that photosynthesis has to do with cameras and photos and synthesis. The Earth is on fire, dude. Global warming isn't something you can just ignore anymore. Like your daughter, Tiffany. Or paying taxes. Which brings me to my next point. Trump's tax returns got released. Which means 2 things. 1, hell is frozen over. And 2, based on what we see, he's either not as rich as he says he is, or he's evading taxes, or both. He only paid $750 in federal taxes for 2 years. $750? That could buy you, like, only 7 churros at Disneyland. For reference, $750 is $100 less than, and this is true, this Count Chocula Funko Pop action figure. Yeah, that's true. And let's be real, Funko Pops are the perfect emblem to describe Trump himself. They get nothing done, they're ugly, they have big heads, they're pointless, they were built on the backs of cheap labor, they say that they're worth way more than they actually are or should be, many people are ashamed to admit that they like them for good reason, and like the characters, Trump only belongs on f***ing TV. And speaking of TV, the debate occurred, which feels like it happened 20 years ago. And I have to say, as someone who does improv, the amount of talking over each other at that debate was super frustrating.
You do it over the last 25 years.
Because you weren't president screwing things up.
You were a senator. And
You're
by
the
way,
worst
you were
president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
Hashtag improv joke. Seriously, do you remember when we thought the debate was going to be over Zoom? There would have been less talking over each other if it was on Zoom. And Zoom meetings are like 90% people talking over each other. No, Karen, no, I'm just saying, no, you're on mute, you need to turn your mic, no, Dave, I was just telling Karen that you go. No, you go, no, I'll go, no, you, what? No, I was saying, no, you go, no, listen, whatever. Luckily, Chris Wallace was there to completely forget how to do his job. Dude, seriously, when it's not Trump's turn to talk, turn off his mic. Or if you want to get him away from the podium whenever Biden is speaking, just tell him that there are women changing in dressing rooms backstage and they did not lock their doors. The best moment of the night, though, was this one right here.
I'm not going to answer the question
Why would you answer that
because
question?
the question
you want to put a lot
is
of
the
new
question
Supreme Court
is
justice,
the
radical
question,
left.
Will you
Who
shut
is your,
up, man?
listen,
What a king. You know, I can't remember the last time in a debate where a candidate literally said what all of America was thinking. Trump, of course, didn't tell Biden to shut up back because I don't think Trump ever tells people to shut up. He just pays them. The debate was a nightmare, plain and simple. And Trump, in his most desperate attempt to make at least something of a soundbite, began criticizing Biden for wearing a mask of all things. Take a look.
I wear
like your
masks
rallies.
when needed. When needed, I wear masks.
Okay, let me ask.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.
Huh. That's like making fun of someone for wearing a seatbelt right before your car gets rear-ended and you go flying through the window. Because to top all of this off, the president got COVID. Which is so ironic. It's so ironic that even Alanis Morissette was like, no fucking way. Look, I don't want to catch heat for making fun of the president for catching COVID. Because obviously, COVID is not funny, and anytime someone catches it, it's a travesty. But if someone spent 6 months saying that bears weren't that dangerous and then let bears roam free around the country, which resulted in thousands dying, and then made fun of people for taking precautions to protect themselves from the bears, gave inaccurate information on how to protect people from the bears, and then got eaten by a bear, it would be fucking hilarious. I mean, look, we all laughed when this guy who shot an elephant died because the elephant's carcass fell on him. I mean, we've all done geometry, just replace the variables. I mean, probably not the president, but still, you get the formula. And let's be real, Trump doesn't care about the 200,000 people who have died because of this virus, or their grieving family and friends. Let's say for each person who passes away, there are 20 people who grieve them. That is 4 million people affected by his actions, not to mention all of the businesses that have had to close down, or all the employees who have been laid off from work. So I think it is okay to make fun of someone for catching this virus when their ineptitude and failure to lead and take this seriously resulted in all of these tragedies. It is morally okay to have zero empathy for one man who has had zero empathy for 200,000. And look, it might seem like I make a lot of jokes here at Wednesday Update at the president's expense. And I do, because he's dangerous. He's dangerous to our moral compass, he's dangerous to our health, he's dangerous to the thought of democracy itself, and he's also dangerous to people who now think that this is a socially acceptable haircut. And to those people, it's not, and you're the worst. Some things we didn't even have time to get into this month were the fact that during the debate, he told white supremacists to stand by, which is something I don't even want to fucking joke about, as well as the unfortunate passing of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And Trump and Republicans' haste to appoint Amy Coney Barrett to fill her seat on the court, despite refusing to even hear out Obama's nominee, Merrick Garland, back in 2016 for the same thing that's going on this year, being an election year. Actually, last week I released a video criticizing one of those Republicans, Senator Lindsey Graham, who said to use his words against him back in 2016. Well, I did use his words against him, and long story short, the video ends with him getting sucked into the vast emptiness of space. Spoiler alert. The point is, this is the last Wednesday update I'm releasing before the election. And while Trump's idiocracy has given me amazing material, I know it is selfish to say that, because millions of Americans have been suffering due to his leadership and will continue to if he's elected again. Quite frankly, writing these jokes is exhausting, and I don't know if we can continue to laugh at it anymore. Kind of like Family Guy. Used to be funny, now it's just sad. Because there is a fine line between making harmless jokes at a politician's gaffes and having actual anger and frustration at how their actions are affecting the American people. And we crossed that line a long fucking time ago. So I'm going to close this video by quoting Justice Ginsburg, an American hero and trailblazer who did more good for this country than this president would do in 10 terms. Real change, enduring change, happens one step at a time. So that step that we all need to take is getting out there and voting his ass out on November 3rd. Or if you're a Trump supporter, it's November 10th. See you there. For Wednesday Update, I'm Zach Timpson, and that's time.